Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us. If you can, just into the little chat box, put a little yes if you can hear me. We'll make sure the audio is well here for you. And then in just a second, Scott's going to get started. We want to give just a couple seconds for anybody who's still coming in. But yeah, I'm really excited. I've been looking over his presentation and thinking about it, and I'm really kind of curious as to how he answers some of these questions because they, like the attribution stuff especially, is such an interesting subject, trying to figure out where, things are coming from. So, Scott, are you there?
I'm here. How you doing, Micah?
I am doing well. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for coming on and being willing to share all of this with us. I know you've got a lot of data there. Can I ask, before you dive into it, that you just tell us a little bit about yourself and about Wicked Reports, and then, go with whatever's next for you?
Great, thanks. Yeah, my background's in data architecture, data warehousing, database development. I spent a lot of time at Motorola building data warehouses out, and then a couple other Fortune 500 companies. Did the very first prototype for Domino's to order pizza on the web, which was kind of a fun project, although it involved before graphical phones, you had to hit a number 2 and had to memorize that meant 2 pepperoni pizzas. So it didn't really take off. So all kinds of cool tech projects and architectures. And I got into Infusionsoft world in 2008 and got into pay-per-click management and just really was fascinated with all the data behind that and found that I couldn't answer a lot of questions that I needed as someone doing even just a modest amount of Facebook advertising or Infusionsoft reporting, try to answer simple things like where do my customers come from and what are they clicking on and what's making me money. And so just because of that problem, I started, hacking out a solution a couple years ago, and then really launched Wicked Reports at Icon last year. So I think it's been around for just over a year officially. And it was to solve the problem of where do when I'm paying advertising, what's making me money and what's wasting my money, and what in general in my time, my social activities, my emails, everything I'm doing to grow my business, where is it working and where is it a waste of time and money. And so that's kind of how it grew, is because I had the problem myself. And it's really, a lot of people have also had the same problem they needed solved. So it started to really take off. And that's kind of what segued into wanting to present here today. I couldn't think of a better place to do it. Was we have a membership site, in a way. We have recurring revenue, similar concept. And it's really a debacle trying to figure out how your business is doing in some cases. And so we've created some metrics around that are launching this week, beta, launching tomorrow actually. And so it was perfect time to present the measures that we found help membership sites, and then also get into attribution and how to track down where your customers are coming from that give you that hopefully juicy recurring revenue. And so that is the marvelous membership metrics, making Micah massively mind-blown. I don't know why I got all into alliteration on this. I have no idea. I put membership metrics down, and then I just found myself dreaming up words with the letter M. So there you go.
I love it. No, so let me ask you a question, Scott. So with Wicked Reports, was it originally designed, and I'm asking kind of especially for people who don't know about it yet, is it, just for Infusionsoft, and then also, what is it meant to do? Like, is it meant to show graphs? Is it, because I've heard some things about, it's way better at ROI, and then there's other things that are better at graphing.
Yeah, we are made to help you make data-driven decisions. That's why we create a report, is can you make a decision to grow your business? And so, and can you do it without having to tell us or do the minimum amount of work necessary as a business owner to get the data you need? Because there's a lot of reporting tools out there that are very pretty and nice, but they require you to tell in a lot of cases to type in your costs, or tell them when a sale happened, or program into your software, your website business, when things happened. And that's really hard to do. And I used to work the Infusionsoft accelerators, and I created a position for those accelerators. I don't know how many people know what those are, but if someone pays Infusionsoft 10 grand to come in for 3 days and get their business overhauled. And I was supposed to be the SEO guy, and I said, SEO is lame. I'm not doing that. I'll do analytics and pay-per-click. And everyone's analytics were completely screwed up. And these are companies, doing well, ability to fork out 10 grand to Infusionsoft and step away from their business for 3 days, and they were all a disaster. And I realized that any way to track ROI has to be simple for the end user. And so with Wicked Reports, we automatically pull costs out of the source systems where you're spending the money. We track all the clicks, and we automatically pull the sales and the leads out of Infusionsoft and other CRMs if you're using them. It doesn't have to be Infusionsoft. And then report them in ways, and then train you on how you can take action with them. So our help is, a lot of it is how to answer the questions that you should be asking of the data, like which ads should I stop running? I want to run new ads. What's my best audiences? Which email? I need a data-driven approach to getting more revenue out of my emails. What should I do? That's what we're always trying to keep in mind with Wicked Reports. So I think that's a different thing than a pretty chart.
Yeah, than graphing.
Yes.
Well, cool. Well, why don't you hop into it, and I'll watch for questions. So if anybody out there has a question for Scott, you can put it in to the questions box, and we'll stop occasionally and answer those. And if I miss anything, I'm sure we'll have a little extra time at the end, so just remind me.
Okay. Great. So piggybacking on what we just kind of said is that the challenge of membership metrics. When do your numbers, are they indicating you have a problem to address, or when you're having success, where do you go to find more customers, and what few metrics do you need to focus on with a membership site? That's what we're going to cover here at first, and then we're going to get into the how to find more customers. So first, a poll question. Do you know how much money you should be investing to acquire a new lead for your membership site? I was curious how many people actually know that right now. Hopefully, if you're a Wicked Reports customer, you better know. Or you should anyway. You should be able to go click in and find out. Because the beauty of the membership sites are that you're going to have this recurring revenue over time, and the lifetime value of your customer is going to eventually be quite high if you're able to retain them. And so therefore, when you know that value, you can invest a portion of that into getting new leads, and then you know your exact amount you can spend. And that really gives you a big leg up on anyone that doesn't know that, because you might be able to spend a lot more than you think, or other lead sources might be a lot more expensive, and you know right away not to go into them. So I don't know how many people answered the poll or knew, but that is why you need to know it. So I'm not going to have a lot of slides that look like this, so don't panic. You're going to have 50 slides of bullet points. But really, at Wicked Reports, I've had this issue. We have recurring revenue, and we need to know each month what we're making. And furthermore, hey, are a lot of people churning? Which, we don't have that, fortunately, but we know about it if someone churns. But some of the bigger membership sites, have some turnover. Or how much new revenue is coming in, upgrades, downgrades. All these questions, I'm always wondering. I have to go in and it should be easy to find out. But instead, I have spreadsheet hell. I export out from my orders. I try to see which product types are recurring. Okay, did they already count in this month? Are there still people billing from last month that haven't hit their billing cycle yet for the month? And then you got to add them up. And then, okay, is someone missing? Because, there's no way to see, hey, where all of a sudden people are just missing off the rolls. And once you get up to even, 50 recurring customers, you'll find, once you get to that point where you don't know every customer by name, which probably happens around the 50 customer mark, you don't know if people are, it's hard to know what is even going on. And it was always this stressful thing of, well, what's my MRR? Because I want to hire a new programmer, or I want to get paid more this month. Can I? And plus, am I growing the way I want to? And it's usually it's a puzzle. So there's not really a lot of you can try something with tags, which then involves the onus is on you to set them up, and then, of course, to try to figure out the revenue. And then the API, which we use to figure this out, it's not straightforward. It's just not, the API did not set up to say, hey, just here's your list of people that left your membership site and grew it and whatnot. It was a lot of work for us to detect things that exist or don't exist based on which month I was looking at. So the numbers I want to talk to you about, there's actually a bonus fourth metric that I decided was important. I had mentioned on the email that there was going to be 3 metrics. There's 4, and I'm going to get into them one at a time here, why they're important and how to calculate them if you want to try to on your own, and then why we're excited is that we have something that will do this for you automatically now. The first one being MRR, monthly recurring revenue. I mean, that's why everyone is probably has a membership site, is the beauty of if you're doing what you love and you're marketing it well, then you're getting more customers each month and you don't have to hunt for any more. And MRR is important, and I'm going to get into some of these other ones in the next slide, but you need to know what is your monthly recurring revenue, which is such a simple thing to know, but isn't that simple to know in Infusionsoft? So now we have a way to do that, but that's the number one most important thing is what's your monthly recurring revenue. No real mind-blowing thing there. It's just Captain Obvious here. You need to know that. Then churn, which in this case, if this was your churn, it'd be a humongous panic situation here. But the churn rate is the percentage of people that are no longer paying you that were paying you. And so there's a lot of ways to do that to measure churn. I read one article of a guy that I really like, and he had computed 40-something different ways, and he had links on the internet, 40-something different ways people say they're calculating churn. So my churn rate might not match what you call how you might define churn, or maybe you just know churn means you lost people. But for Wicked Reports, we say how many people did you lose divided by how many people do you have that you still have with you. So it's pretty straightforward. Lost divided by who's left, plus who you lost. So you lost if you lost 10 people and you still have 40 people on and you lost the 10, you had 20% churn rate. I don't know if that how many math whizzes out there, but that's 10 divided by 50. So this is the number one concern is churn, because you work hard to get the customers, you're trying to build your business further, and then if people aren't staying on, I like this metric because it's easy to understand. It's, are they still around or not? But it's an indicator that you need to do something in your business. It's not just a number where you look at with, your glazed eye, you're looking at a big pile of numbers and you don't know, okay, yeah, this is a number, okay, here's a colorful graph, what do I do? This one, when it goes up, it's time to panic and take action. So it's an actionable metric. Uh-oh, I've had more churn than the previous month. What's wrong? And we have a few suggestions on here of what to do to prevent churn, but that's why I like this metric, very actionable. Net new MRR. This is kind of telling you, am I headed in the right direction? And so this takes out this is all the monthly recurring revenue that you're going to receive, both the new people that signed up and your upgrades, and then what you've lost from people that canceled that month or that have downgraded. And this one's important because, you could have, you start getting all kinds of activity in your business, upgrades, downgrades, people leaving, hopefully not many, if any, people joining. And MRR is telling you going up, but this on a monthly basis can tell if your growth pattern is what you want. Taking into account all these somewhat subtle things that occur in your business of the upgrades and downgrades as well. So I really like this one because it tells me if we're really boosting up.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah.
So there's a couple questions that came in that are just asking, are you pulling this data from their Infusionsoft subscriptions?
Yeah, so Wicked Reports pulls this from the Infusionsoft subscriptions or from Stripe subscriptions or plans. I should say Stripe calls them plans. So from Stripe or Infusionsoft, or I don't know if you guys integrate with Entreport or not. We do that also. Maybe not.
No, we don't.
Okay. Well, so we're pulling this automatically in. But if not, I'm just telling you these are the things that you should be calculating by hand because you want to know your net new. But yeah, we would automatically report these things for you. This screenshot's from Wicked Reports, but I want to show you still this would be a case of a bad one here. Net new, obviously, negative 7,000 MRR down. Time to panic. It would be.
Hey, by the way, your graphs are pretty fancy. I shouldn't say they're not fancy because they're pretty cool.
I'm red-green colorblind too, so I'm not sure if this is red-green. I think I was told red is bad and the top. I just know from I had to memorize the stoplight growing up that the top meant stop, the bottom meant go. So I'm assuming, because this almost looks. I don't even know what to tell you about this. Anyway, this should mean I see the negative. That's kind of for me.
Gotcha.
Now, lifetime value is the amount of revenue generated per customer. Now, this is, for recurring, so each month that they're paying you, the value of that customer has gone up. So if you get a $100 a month program, someone stays for a year, the lifetime value of that customer is $1,200. Now, when you combine how much you're churning, which is hopefully low, with the average amount of time that your memberships your recurring members stay on, you can get a really good estimate of your lifetime value, or not even an estimate, you'll know. And then when you know how much your lifetime value is, then you know, and like I said earlier, how much you can spend on leads, and that's huge to find out. And so that's not a membership centric, it's just why people are in membership programs, is because the lifetime value gets really high. So then when you get that great funnel that starts working, then you can really, some of our customers on these are just people that start out with a hobby site, and then they create it into a little coaching program or membership with content each month using Membarium. And some people, we have a fair amount of people that can blast off and get to over 100K a month. And they're just like 1-2 person shops with maybe a marketing person helping them out, maybe not. We see it all the time. They get these sky-high LTVs, and then they work on their marketing and get it to where they're able to get customers in at a fair rate compared to their LTV, and then it's almost like you're a financial trader doing arbitrage. It costs one price over here, and the value's higher over here, and they kill it. There's a fair amount of people just killing it with membership sites. And this is why LTV versus cost to acquire the customer. So a good membership, yeah.
Yeah, sorry to pop in here. Just a quick question about some of these financials. So we talked about the sales data, and that comes from the subscriptions. Do you do other expenses outside of like their ad expenses, or is there a place for them to put those, or is it more like the expenses against ads?
There is. You can type in, for any link at all, you can type in a type of price. Like we've set up Wick reports so you don't need to build links in our system for any reason. There's no concept of, we've set it up so things can get tracked without you having to do a lot of link building. But in some cases, if you're doing a print ad or like a mailer or a radio ad or a sponsored email broadcast to another list, which a fair amount of people do with some pretty good success, then you can input the costs for that.
Okay, gotcha. So in answer to your question, City, she was asking basically, about rent and other expenses and if that fit into this picture, but not really, right? That's all overhead and the rest of it.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we haven't gone into that arena yet. I don't know if we will. So as I mentioned, I already kind of covered that, but low churn rate gives you higher MRR, which gives you more lifetime value, which means you can spend more. It's like a fractal of growth that, we have a fair amount of people using Wick Reports that happens for them fast. And that's not just because of Wick Reports. They have a good marketing funnel. They have a good content they're offering. But when you get these numbers in order, then you get that growth, and then it's pretty awesome. Now, on the other side, again, the churn rate is high. Then you got to stop what you're doing and panic and move heaven and earth to stop the churn. You got to figure out why it's happening and stop it. Now, what's worked for you is number one, because there's a lot of churn things will be very specific to your business. It could be that you got to go look in and hey, my content just isn't that good on month 4, and that's when everyone's dying out of paying me. So in terms of like a specific Jedi tactic, it's really reduce the cancellations, Captain Obvious, but you have to you've got to get in there and figure out what is turning the people off. One thing is with email if you're doing emails out to your content each month, you need to see where the click drop off occurs, not the open rate drop off, but the click. Because you got to know, are they going into my site and interacting with the content? Because normally what you'll see when we filter by like a particular campaign, let's say the campaign is delivering membership content, you'll see a pretty substantial drop-off somewhere in the mix. And this happens with people even if they don't have a lot of churn. Just people kind of start to tune out. And when you do that, you have to do 2 things. You got to look where the drop-off occurred. It's not the email with the lower amount of clicks. Like, I don't know if this is being clear. Let's say we just have an email every month. and let's say in the May email there was 200 clicks, but when the April email there was 800 clicks. So the problem, you would think, oh, I better go look at the May email because I only had 200 clicks. But often the problem is the month before, the April email that got the 800 clicks, people went to that content and they just weren't that into it. It didn't fulfill whatever you were supposed to be delivering to them. And so it's kind of somewhat counterintuitive, but the month before the low click is usually where the trouble is. So you got to go look at what's going on with that content. What can I add to it? It's so subjective to what you're delivering that I won't spend any more time on it other than to say that, look, the month before you have the churn is often when the problem is. So the other way to combat, because you are going to have some churn, people just won't use the membership product, they move on, you've solved the problem, they've outgrown it, I don't know, they're on a budget now, all kinds of reasons people might churn that have nothing to do with the product. So, I mean, obviously you get more people in and more net new MRR because you're getting more customers in faster than you're churning them, and that's the best way to combat any possible churn is just to be bringing in more people. Oh, I went the wrong way. So to acquire more customers, that's where we come in. Nice skyline of Chicago there, where I used to live. And so we're going to go from the membership-specific questions into the metrics to help grow your business, particularly with Facebook advertising. So before we dive too into this topic, is there any other membership-specific statistics questions or anything around what we covered so far that you haven't already mentioned?
And while we're waiting, if anybody has any questions to come through here, just so everyone understands, depending on the size of your business and where you're at, he's got the two sides of the coin here. We're talking about, limiting churn quite a bit, and then as he goes into adding people, you can kind of net it out. But I know for myself and for clients' businesses and stuff like that, the best is when you do a bit of both. Depending on where you're at, you might need one or the other more, but just know that the first half of this and the second half, putting them together where you're growing and, limiting costs or whatever, keeping customers, then that's just huge. Like, that's super healthy growth. And that is probably, I'm guessing, Scott, those companies where you're saying they grow really fast is because they have that dual dynamic of, we're making more and we're doing it more efficiently. So yeah, with the sky's really the limit. We don't have to slow down as much as other companies are running on a tighter margin.
Exactly. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So this is a popular quote, and it's kind of our whole reason for being. I know that half my advertising is wasting. I just don't know which half. And so would you rather waste 50% or over 60%, says All Wicked Reports users. There's still always a concept of waste. You're going to be split testing things and trying out crazy ideas and whatnot. So our premise is we're going to automatically pull in the costs from Google AdWords and Facebook and your Google Analytics click and your Infusionsoft, and I should say also your Stripe Entreport, and we have a number of other CRMs coming online next month. But this is an Infusionsoft audience. And so we pull them all in and aggregate them into a data warehouse and then give you easy-to-use metrics on them. Because the idea is how do you match the right message to the right market on the right media? And, because one type of messaging might get a lot of clicks and likes but get no real customers, and other messaging might be more expensive but actually get people that buy your stuff. And then the same message that might respond to an Infusionsoft user that has a membership product, for example, like today's webinar, this webinar wouldn't be that interesting to someone who didn't have a membership site. So this message matches this market. And so that's what we are trying to do, is get your ROI down to the message market level, because that's where your growth is, because then people are seeing your marketing and responding to it because it's meant for them. And you know that because you found customers that you can verify that bought from your Infusionsoft and see, hey, this is where my customers are coming from, not just clicks or people that are bored on Facebook.
Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just one question came in about And I'm obsessed with recurring revenue, so you can probably better answer this. Does this, all this tracking and a lot of the stuff you're going through now, does it also apply to products, not recurring products, one-time fees?
Yes, it does. The difference is that when the recurring revenue comes in each month, because it's a recurring order, we go attribute it to how the person first converted. And if it's a single product, then we give it credit to the most recent click of that month, if that makes sense. So if I've been paying Membarium, I'm a Membarium user, and I signed up in January off an email of yours. So we give that email credit for the sale. And then now every month that I pay, that email gets more revenue attributed to it because it was a recurring product. Now, if I bought a one-time product in January, then just that click for that month gets the revenue. I don't know if they can do that. No, that's good. So let's say, just so we make sure it's all clear, let's say somebody did buy a subscription in January, and then they're billed all 12 months, right? So all of that gets attributed to that click in January. But if halfway through the year the same person bought some other random one-time product, let's say in August, you're saying the August purchase gets attributed to the August click, is that right? Correct.
Okay.
So one of the challenges is there's a lot of clicks that happen. And here's just an image that I've always liked that shows all these different random clicks this person had or different events. And, each system that you're using to get clicks always does the most optimistic view of their performance, which means the last click in Facebook within 30 days gets credit for the sale in Facebook for the conversion. The last click or video view in AdWords for the last 30 days takes credit for the sale. And then it might have been the email that actually did the conversion and the Facebook ad that got the lead and the AdWords ad that made them first hear about you, or it might not have. But all the systems are always attempting to report their most optimistic scenario. And then people come to us once they're starting to do any fair amount of advertising. This won't apply to everyone, but to some people. And they'll be, hey, my Facebook is showing 200 conversions this week, but I only have 100 leads. How could that be? And I'm like, well, funny you should ask. Then I go into how we track things. So if you're doing all this manually, then there's the spreadsheet hell that comes up again because you don't piecing together the ad spend with the activity in your CRM, with the orders, with the clicks. It's a lot to do. And I used to do it by hand, inserting stuff into Infusionsoft and then re-looking up all the ad spend and all this, and it wasn't sustainable. It was like a 6-hour project every week per client, so it's horrible. It's horrible. So Wicked Reports was born from that. So here's Get Me Lobster. He's our poster boy for his stats. We get to show his stats, and so we're going to go through how he made a ton of ROI on his advertising. And, he had the same problems as many people. He had blew $6,000 on Facebook, and, he wanted to know. Then he started to run some ads and say, hey, did the leads buy? Well, were they new? Sorry, I keep having that back thing. I don't know what's going on there. Were the leads already on my list, or does Facebook get me new leads or old leads? And did I make any money? He couldn't tell. And so we transformed his data. And that's what I'm going to show you here. So Mark he was doing 25 cents per click was his advertising costs per ad. And then his leads, he had some Infusionsoft tagging going on. He had Facebook conversion tracking. And so he saw some leads that came in. He had a couple hundred leads, and he had 25 cents per click. So I want to ask you guys a quick poll here. Is that good or is that bad? What do you think of his 25 cents per click to get him 200 leads? I don't know if I can see the chat thing, good or bad. Oh, here it is.
And then Scott, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just I didn't know if you wanted to address this at some point, but Sean was asking, can Wicked Reports be used to easily see funnel revenue in other funnels and products, not just my membership site? So you might answer that later on, Scott, but I just wanted to make it aware and then just kind of buy us time to get some answers too. Yeah,
yes, it can. You're able to. The short answer is yes. Yeah, it's not just membership revenue. we're tracking how people joined your list and how they first heard about you, or how they rejoined your list before a purchase, and then we're attributing the revenue accordingly, whatever type of revenue it is. We just see an order in Infusionsoft each from the previous day, and then we go look at all the clicks for the various points we track to then update the the ROI, lifetime value, and cost to acquire the customer for all those different ways they might have interacted with you. So the answer to all these 25 cents per click is we had no idea. Because you can get a bunch of opt-ins that never buy, or a bunch of cheap clicks is meaningless. I mean, really, the cost per click is a meaningless metric, in my opinion. Of course, you want cheap traffic once you know if it's worth paying, but that you should never be optimizing or getting excited because you see you're getting clicks cheap, unless you are know that you find customers there already. If you already know that place you're targeting gives you customers, then you should be celebrating your cheap traffic. If not, you could have just wasted the money. It's tough to say. So we had no idea until we were able to calculate his stats on his marketing. Return on investment, which is revenue minus cost divided by cost. So if you spend $100 in advertising and you got $100 back, you made 0%. Oh, I already had that there. I'm so used to saying that, I didn't realize I already listed it. That ROI is easily the most important thing. You want to know if you're having ROI. Lifetime value we already covered. Cost to acquire the customer is pretty straightforward. But the beauty of the marketing sites is that, the membership sites, is that when your lifetime value gets high enough against the cost, again, you got that geometric growth. And then your ROI, you can spend more to get customers, and then you can continually acquire more customers because you can spend more to get them. So if you're focused on these numbers, then you can evaluate your marketing this way, and then you can find out, and then that's how you grow. So this is a screenshot from Wicked Reports here, showing Mark's Facebook ROI. So see, we calculate it automatically, the ROI, the cost to acquire the customer, and the lifetime value, and we do it at the ad set and ad level. And I do this to show you that the type of level that you can get to that can give you success. So now if you can set up a tracking scheme on your own that can get you this, I highly recommend you to do it, because it pays huge dividends. These sky-high ROIs here, he doesn't have a membership site, but he's able to get a customer here, as you can see, from from $28 to $47 in this part of the screenshot, $62 overall on Facebook. Well, just imagine you guys have a $99 a month recurring program. Your LTVs go up $100 every month. After a year out, you get $1,200, and it only cost you $62. So he spent $63,000 even with this spread. I mean, you can spend a ton. It's not your money. It's money that's coming in that's just profit, and you can just siphon off a part of it because you've got this nice spread between cost versus lifetime value. And then when you can match, so this is his ad message. November tails, he uses lobster, so buy 6 tails, get 6 free, and I don't know what November really had to do with it. I think that must have been when he was doing the campaign. Here's his different customer. Here's his different ad sets, which ad set stands for the targeting. Here's some of his lookalikes. Here's some of his retargeting. And then you're going to have all sorts of demographic ways you're doing it. But when you match whatever ad it is, unless I don't think it's a lobster membership site, so not a good example on that. But when you can match the right offer to the right person, and you see, oh man, look at the sky high, like he has the different ROIs here. Well, 800% ROI is obviously quite nice. Well, you just crush it. You just keep, you can just buy up all the traffic there because you're killing it there.
Hey, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go back to old data with some of these reports? Like, will it pull in, previous years, or how does that work?
For old data, we have a couple things we can show you. They're not in the slides, but we're able to, because we don't have the clicks. But what we can tell you without clicks is when you should be marketing and emailing. And this is based on the work of Craig Jacobson, which I know he's a mutual friend of ours, Micah. He had this theory of match the message to the market at the right time. And so what we built in with his, we given him intellectual attribution here, and I let him know before I built it, and he was cool with it, is that we take all your orders and match them to the time zone of the customer so that you know when people are buying. So you know when, and you should send your emails when people buy, was his theory, which we see people do great on email, and also for your marketing. When you should show your marketing is when people are most likely to buy. Now, because when we do that, what we find is no one should be sending emails at 8 a.m. unless it's part of your membership delivery and you want people to get your membership content at 8 a.m. to start the day. If you're doing marketing, I would just randomly go in and pick a different time than 8 a.m. because we got all the big, we have all these like big guru marketers that we've analyzed their data, and we've got all these just people that have, making a living that are using our data, and no one's sales are at 8 a.m. The top, no one's prime time for something being bought is 8 a.m. So that's one thing we get from the historical data. We can find out what day and what time you should be marketing most likely to be successful. We can tell how fast people buy. So if you know your sales velocity, you know which metrics you need to focus on more. Because if your sales cycle is like 5 or 6 months, then you need to, when you make a purchase, where you finally converted them is not where you first found them. And marketing nowadays, Facebook and AdWords, is trying to focus on, hey, look who you converted in the past 30 days. But when your sales cycle is longer, you need to know where you found them. And so that's a big factor. That's a historical. We do product reporting, and this membership reporting will be historical as well. So the churn and the churn and the MR.
Yeah, that helps a lot. And kind of a follow-up question as well that ties into this. You're talking about the longer sales cycles. What do you think about a situation where somebody joins a free membership, let's say, and then later upgrades through the membership site, and then even after that later does a one-click upsell through the membership site?
Yep, that's a good point. That's probably the one I should have mentioned. I'm glad you picked that out. So we have a tripwire attribution product report, and that product could be a free product, or it could be a $1 trial, or whatever you have. And what we measure with that is when someone started where did people come from that bought your tripwire product, or your free trial, or your limited trial, and then how much revenue have they been worth since. So you can find out which audiences buy which trials, and then how much they're worth over time. Because you may find that that you're running a negative ROI on a campaign for the first 7 days because you're doing the free trial, and then 30 days out or 60 days out, you're actually wildly profitable. So you can run a negative ad campaign initially because it's going to be worth a lot of money down the road. And furthermore, you'll find out where your audiences are that take you up on the trials and actually become customers, versus some audiences. We find this a lot with email-sponsored broadcasts. You buy a list, and it's all crappy get-rich-quick people that come in, do the trial, and tons of cancels or want their money back, and you have a good product. And it's really just the traffic source was terrible. And so you're able to measure specific sources against values, against trials.
And one last question for me that I'm kind of curious about. How or where does other traffic show up? Like, let's say organic traffic. Is there separate reports for that, or is it excluded because this is advertising focused?
Yeah, we're able to track organic social using something called Wicked ID. So you just type in the word you want to track that link by, and the source when you're posting on Facebook fan page, or your profile, or Twitter, or Instagram, or Pinterest. You can just, as you're posting the link or shortening, you can shorten it if you want. You can add in text that's then going to be reported off from that traffic source. Pure organic, we don't track currently. Google hides the search, so you don't know why they're coming. So we don't. So pure shows up as we pull in the data, but it shows up with just the word untracked, or it shows up blank depending on the report. So
gotcha.
We don't really. We don't partition direct traffic from organic yet. That's one thing we're going to do, but we can't get into the details because we don't have them, unfortunately.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Sure. Now, here are some things I pretty much already talked about, other than we verify the leads are in your CRM and the sales come from your CRM or Stripe. So when you see a number, you can go in and look at it and see the actual people or orders behind an attributed number. It's not a number that you're just going to say 105 sales, what are they talking about? Like we show you them in the clicks. Where's my, whoop. Okay, and then the steps in the journey are important because like those longer sales cycles, or how many, I mean, no one generally buys I guess I don't, I shouldn't speak for everyone, but if I'm on my Facebook feed, like on my phone or on my computer, I see something interesting, I may opt in or I may click on it, but to just reach open and grab my credit card if I've never heard of a company and see them cold on Facebook, probably not going to happen. And so you need to, but if that's the first way I heard about someone, way back here, I'm doing my first online ad, I need to know when way down here I purchase off the site, 2 months later, oh, you're doing all kinds of things to try and grow your business. You need to be like, oh, wait a minute, okay, all these great customers are actually coming from the online, the second ad I ran on Facebook when I targeted these 3 different types of groups is where all my business is coming from. But a couple months in, you're not going to remember that unless it was the only ad you ran and you tagged them, that one ad. But anyone that's doing advertising now knows you got to split test, you got to try all these different things, target. You don't have time to really set up some intense infrastructure, but all the different points and clicks, trying to track all of them is going to drive you insane, and they're not all as valuable. And so in our opinion, the ones that are most valuable are the ones that get you to join the list, the ones that get you to first hear about something, or the ones that get you to buy, or if you're already on someone's list, the one that gets you to re-opt in. Like we had people re-opting in for this webinar. Now if they end up purchasing something, then it's good to know, hey, they were sitting on my list for 8 months, but then when I did the Membarium webinar, now they finally bought. That's good, and that's really good information to know. And you wouldn't know it if you weren't tracking re-opt-ins and comparing them against time of sale. But if I looked at every single click they've ever done, I can't give equal value to all of them. So we try to cut through the noise and just show you the clicks that are most important. I think I have some setting where my mouse is like forwarding things when I'm not clicking or something. I don't know. Sorry about that. So which click deserves the credit is the idea of sales attribution. And there are different ways to determine credit for different sales. And the reason why you need that is because you're going to match the intent of an ad. You got to measure it fairly. So when you're doing lead gen and you're trying to get people to opt into your list, then when there's purchases made, when you're going to do new lead gen, you want to look at your sales from the lens of, let me see how much revenue the other ads have done. And then when you're doing branding, you want to say, hey, I want to see how the sales have gone when I've done other types of branding ads. And so you have to measure those sales according to the type of click that those ads bring in. Because when you just look at conversions, when people hear the word conversion, they think, what made the sale? Because that's sales conversion. There's a whole industry behind it now. But when you're looking at attribution, you can't just be looking at what made the sale. You've got to know what made all the other key points in the customer journey, because that's when you're trying to do a different function than just convert people to sale when you're trying to interrupt them on Facebook and get them to join your email list. It's a different type of thing than getting them to buy. And so you got to look at the ads that way. And so, yeah, you have to understand how the money was credited. And so I kind of covered this. This is Facebook. They're doing 30 days out, which sometimes is fine and lots of times it isn't. And you need to know when it is and isn't. You can't just look at Facebook. So if Facebook says all these conversions, it really might mean a sales assist. If I clicked on a Facebook ad 29 days ago and then I hit your thank you for purchasing.html page, Facebook could show that 29 days ago ad converted you. Now it might have helped, might not have. Probably didn't 29 days ago. I don't make many decisions based on what happened 29 days prior. I can't think of almost anything. But if the Facebook click was the same day as you bought, then yeah, that was a very valid conversion. So you need to know that before you're making your decisions. And then with AdWords, this is crazy. The view through, if you didn't click on an ad, you scroll through and you see all those like ads on your pages when you're scrolling through reading. Like on ESPN.com, I always get an ad for Digital Marketers Certification Program. Always they retarget me on there. I love Digital Marketer, but I'm not looking to get certified by them. Well, if you see some ad, let's say the lobster guy is doing a AdWords retargeting, and 29 days ago you're on ESPN checking your fantasy sports team out, and the retargeting display ad is up in the corner, buy lobster now, or whatever. You don't click on it, and then 29 days later you buy. That ad says it converted. We get this all the time with AdWords people coming in, and then they're like, oh, my AdWords is crushing it. And we're like, uh-oh, we're going to have an unhappy customer. They always stay because they're always alarmed, but we show the clicks and we say, hey, look, that ad, you had these 7 other clicks that happened since that ad that no one clicked on, and that's really what happened in your customer journey, not what AdWords is telling you. Not to say AdWords is always running around misinforming, but sometimes they are, and in this case they are. This is why you need to pay attention to attribution if you're advertising, or if not, you need to be working with people that do, because just looking at what they say as a conversion is a big risk. So we kind of all covered this, so I won't go into that anymore. But then here's the questions we're trying to answer. Where did they find me? What made them finally fork over my email list? Because I know, like anyone on this call, you don't just subscribe to everything. Everyone's inbox is crushed right now. I try to get 0 inbox every day. I don't achieve it. I get close. So I don't like to give up my email address for much. And so for someone to get my email address, I mean, it takes a lot, and it's usually something that's really hit a nerve with me. Oh, man, I really want to know this. I better give my email address. I want to know. And so that is valuable info, because that's how you know how to go find other leads. Once you learn that they're profitable, you got to know, how did they join my list? And then you do want to know what made them finally buy. Was it an email? Was it an ad? Was it a webinar? What was it? So that's obviously is very important also. Okay, so here was the slide I was looking for when I was looking around. So yeah, out of all, you got to get the signal from the noise. There's all these clicks, all these attributions, all these things you could do. We focus it down to these 4. What was the first click? How did I join? What was the last click before a sale? Is there ever any time they re-opted in for something? Because just leveraging these points and measuring your sales by these points, people are able to make huge advances in their business. So that's where we've focused our time.
Real quick, Scott, the stuff you were saying about Google and Facebook actually is really fascinating to me, because I never knew that they didn't even have to click an ad before it counted, right, as a conversion in some way. Mm-hmm. So that stuff's really cool. And then, looking at this, it kind of makes me wonder, what people are doing. So, like, what do you see if somebody says, oh, it's this thing that made me re-opt in? What does that tell you? Does it just tell you to get everyone to re-opt in for that thing, or?
Well, we attribute revenue to the re-opt-in, not just re-opt-ins as well. And so if we find that, okay, so let's use this for example. Let's say I look in my Wicked reports in 2 weeks and I say, oh wow, I got $4,000 from the Membarium re-opt-in webinar. Then that means that my list really wanted to know about this. So then I'm going to build that into my campaign for new leads once they're in there, to get them to this content, because I know that it's valuable to people. It was valuable enough that they were willing to try us out. And if not, then I'll say, well, I really enjoyed my time, but either I screwed up the presentation, or you know what, it's not, people just want to know about ad spend. They don't want to know about membership metrics in general. The data will let me know. So I don't have to make an opinion based on what I should do going forward when you're constantly trying to, when people opt in, you're looking to give them value and also convert them to customers. And so if this webinar, for example, people re-opted in and then convert, I know, okay, this is something that helps people become customers, regardless of whether it was also valuable or not. I want to know, hey, is there ROI positive on it? Which I'm sure there will be. So that's what you use it for when you're trying to do marketing. And then if sales come in, on any day, you say, okay, how did I even get these people on my list? And you go find out and say, okay, I should do more of that. And we have, I should get permission to use this one guy's story. I do have permission to use another story, though. The Betty Rocker is one of our clients, has been for almost a year, and she's featured on the Digital Marketer podcast, and she is just absolutely crushing it. Came out of nowhere, a fitness professional. There's tons of them. Fitness, lose weight. There's tons of people out there doing that. Well, she's killing it. Well, she uses the type of metric. She does content ads to get people to hear about her. That's first click. She's not trying to get anything from them. She's doing a first click. Hey, come over here. And I forget, but she has a couple incredible articles that everyone loves. And she knows that because her revenue goes through the roof because people get so much value from her first click of content. Then she shows them an ad to get them to opt in. I think Kim Snyder's on the call. Her software does help you go through these steps of different, showing the different ads when they're at the different points in the life cycle. Then once they've seen it, then she's showing them offers to get them to opt in. And then she can track the revenue that way. When she says, okay, I'm split testing 3 different ways to get them to join my list. And then normally you just say, oh, this one had 700 leads and this one had 500 leads, so I should do the one with 700 leads. But that's not true. If the 500 leads brought you 50 customers and the 700 leads brought you 5, then you really want to do the 500, the offer that brought less leads because it brought you more customers. And so that's why we measure it by revenue. And then to try to convert them, because people are busy, even if they love the product or whatever, what was that last click before the sale? Because then okay, this is what is actually getting them to finally, make the commitment to my service or my product or whatever, which is a big thing for people to do. And so you do want to know what is that tipping point. And then the re-opt-in, because you have lists that people could love you, but then what's finally going to make them buy? That's where the re-opt-in really helps. What webinar, what content, what PDF did I do? We're tracking last click of emails as well, but webinar opt-in, this is a strong tell on something.
Hey, Scott, question for you. I would assume when you do figure out which things are really working, that you just kind of move them up in the funnel. Like you said, if there's something they re-opt in for, you make that part of their onboarding or whatever. But is it as simple as that? Is it as simple as figuring out what's doing all this and then trying to front end load it just where the activity's higher? Or do most people still have to keep it stretched out like this? I guess the question is, to what extent can they use this info to shorten their sales cycle versus just improve the overall conversion rate? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll give you an example. It's not always black and white, even though I'd love data to be immediately, okay, take the re-opt and send it as the second email and convert them in a day. That'd be killer. I would also be doing you a disservice if I said that. There is some subjectivity, because if you have some killer content on the way that's warming them up, you need to keep that in there. But we had an example with the lobster guy. So he had downloaded the machine from Digital Marketer, and he implemented it really badly. So the machine actually works extremely well for people, but he did a really bad implementation of it. And so all his Facebook leads he was dumping into this 19-day warm welcome, he called. He goes, I want to warm them up before I just hit them with deals. Well, his whole business, which he's grown to almost $5 million, is just deals, deals, deals. No one wants to talk to him. No one wants to hear from him. They just want to know, hey, you saved me money on lobster. Is it a cool dinner? Otherwise, get out of here. But he wanted this social, touchy-feely onboarding. So we checked his stats, and his Facebook sales, he had over people weren't buying at all, but the people that were buying 66% were buying after 30 days. And so he took that sequence out. I said, Jesus, what are you, Facebook's doing? I guess they just take a while. I go, what are you doing with the Facebook leads? He's like, I got this warm welcome. I was like, I go, why don't we just try not warm welcoming them? Just blast them with deals, because that's why people are probably opting in. So he went back to the regular deal thing, and it was over 200% more people started converting within 2 weeks. It was a massive shift of people that because the indicator of his data told him to move up his blast the deals. So instead of moving up his re-opt-in, he moved up the things he was sending them later on. He moved it up, and then he immediately was converting more. So that it was over 200% difference. So he knew that was the right thing to do. But after that story, he already had some data, and then you test out moving the re-opt-in up for the time period. So let's say your re-opt-in was 60 days out, and you see, hey, after this re-opt-in everyone buys. You move it in. You test 2 different intervals. I test putting it 1 week out, and I test putting it 30 days out. and then see which one works. Because data can indicate things, but then you still have to test it to make sure it works. But it can be that simple. So it was that simple for him. He stopped doing the thing that was slowing things down, and then he just immediately was making more money, like a lot more.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting, especially when you're spending on ads. If you can get the money back that much faster, you can, double, triple probably your ad spend, not having to wait so long.
Exactly. With you guys, you could test, immediate demos versus call to demo. All kinds of things versus show them a replay of this webinar. You get all kinds of angles to try, and then you got to just look at the sales velocity per. I actually cut those slides out of here. It's interesting we're talking about it though. You can test sales velocity against the offer that got them on the list and see which one converts faster.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, it's interesting too, just that the best practice, like him wanting to do that warm welcome, best practice isn't, it's not always just the right answer. It's just like blindly following what Facebook tells you your things are worth. It's blindly following the best practices is not always the best either.
Yeah, you got to test because what a guru says worked for them and some of their clients doesn't mean it works for you. We work with most of them, and their stuff. Their stuff works really well, but not for everyone because the implementation could be bad, or some markets maybe it just doesn't transfer over. Digital marketer stuff works amazingly well for a lot of people, but that piece worked horrible for them.
And just in the interest of time, if people have to go on the hour, how much more do you want to go through? And it's okay if you go over, like I'm good, but how much do you have here for them?
Let's just do one more thing, which is that the same ad, in this case, this is one campaign, I just want to point this out, that sometimes you have an ad that could be doing well and you just don't have it in front of the right people. Here's 272% ROI on a campaign, which is already good. But look, he's crushing it here against this audience, and he's doing -% here. And just keep in mind that it's the ad and the audience that matter. It's not one or the other. It's not this audience is bad or, oh, this ad is great. You need the combo. It's really important to get, I would say. That would be the one thing I'd want to mention to people to keep in mind when they're advertising. So now he's a Yoda. Okay, so this is inside info we're giving you. This is kind of, we're teaching you how to arbitrage without having to really even understand it. We're just giving you the bells and whistles of saying, hey, this has high ROI or this doesn't. So you don't have to be a stat geek like myself to be able to grow your business. And you could be wickedly powerful like a superhero. So Eric, these type of things, if we're running out of time, I won't demo how fast this is to set up, but you can get set up pretty fast because we have tools in place as we've been building this over the year to make it more and more foolproof to set up, because data quality is super important. It's not just, hey, we have a tool, it's on you to figure it out. We have tools in place to make sure your tracking is working and to make sure your orders are tracked. And so we have those ability. And then this is not a pure SaaS. We have a kickstart, but we also have help with support. We have webinars so that people can get on the phone and say, hey, I'm looking at my data. Can you give me some help? Or I thought I tracked something right. I'm not sure. And, we have open webinar calls a couple times a week for people to get on and talk with the COO to get it set up. We do have a done-for-you option as well. And then we're doing a little discount for the Membarium folks here because our prices have gone up. And so they're normally $199. You can see them right here. So they're pretty high now because, biz has been good and that's what the price is now. But we are going to keep the Membarium special as a two-part. We're going to do $249 for the Kickstart instead of $500. So save you $250 immediately. And we're going to roll back to our, we'll let you lock in our original pricing. And there's a surprise added discount on there on the pricing page as well for you guys. So to do that, just go to wickedreports.com/membarium and you'll get the discount code, and then you punch it in, and you'll see the pricing come way down and the Kickstart benefit and the other little treat on there. And that's all I got for you.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Scott. And, looking at that, like $99 for the basic or whatever it is, most people on this are probably charging at least $50 a month. So guys, think about just getting or keeping 2 extra members or whatever it is. This really isn't a cost thing. Obviously, if you get it, it's not going to magically do itself. I'm sure it's going to take a little bit of effort in that. Scott, for somebody, and this might be a hard question to answer, so hopefully it'll still be useful, but for somebody, let's say they've got, 3 membership levels on their site, so 3 different levels of subscription, and then they've got like 200 members, and they're doing their Facebook and their Google advertising and their analytics. How much of their time does it take to get to a point where this is being really informative for them?
Well, usually within a day, because you authorize us to pull your Infusionsoft data, we can pull it in, and then you immediately know when to send your emails, because you'll see when everyone bought. Because we actually will omit the recurring orders and just show you the one-time or initial orders to see what time people bought. So you know right away when to send your marketing emails, which will immediately make you more money. You'll get more clicks and money from those. So we try to give you the value right away. And then our 99 tier includes that, plus it's going to include all the membership reporting as well. So that's why it was kind of good timing for this webinar, is when that goes beta tomorrow out to the people, or we might do it Monday depending on my mood, I guess, tomorrow. And so, so I mean, right away you'll know when to send. You'll send one, all of a sudden your emails will be getting more interaction because you're sending them at the time when your problems, when people are looking for the solution to your problem more. They're more willing to spend the time to do it. The advertising spend usually takes about 2 weeks of time, 2 to 3 weeks. That's why we don't start the monthly billing for a couple of weeks. We have the Kickstart process, but we don't start the monthly billing for a few weeks because we want you to already have your advertising data in there and be able to make some initial decisions. And we'll have the sales velocity computed from your order history, so we'll know how long your people take to close, and then that helps drive the strategy that we give you for what to do with your ad spend stuff. The ad spend's at the premium level, by the way.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah.
It's Eric or Erock. Hey, just wanted to answer a couple questions. Bernardo's asking, the link is going to the premium package, and the cost for the Kickstart is the normal fee. So Bernardo, I want to let everybody know too, is that when you go to the Memberium link, it'll give you an opportunity to put your contact information, and the code will get sent to your email address. There's a discount code that you'll put in there, and if you're watching the event right now, just go put in that discount code, and everything will trigger. And when you add the discount code, that's how you'll also get an additional surprise bonus once you put that code in there. And then Len is asking, what if you are just starting with a minimal list? Is this helpful?
Yeah, because, and I was getting into it on a Facebook post in a closed group on someone who was going to invest in SEO. It is, because the fastest way you're going to grow your list is if you're focused on a profitable funnel, not just growing your list. And so you can start that with Facebook and then immediately get feedback on whether your offers are good or whether they're working, and if they're working in a profitable way. That's how you should be growing your list, not doing some other slow process or doing a ton of blogs and hoping they go viral. It's just the worst advice ever. Or building up your SEO. That's totally lame. You should just immediately start being able to try to build a profitable paid traffic funnel. It's the immediate step you should be doing, because you get feedback right away. And if you can't profitably bring in a customer, you really don't have a business. You don't have a business you can grow. You might have a great idea. You might have, everyone's going to love it. They just need to know about it. Well, if you can't market it effectively, profitably, then you're hosed. So, short answer should have been just yes. Feel passionate about that, though.
You're good. So, a question came up. When you're at the stage of setting up your membership site to do a launch, is it best to start setting up this stuff, the analytics, while building the site, or do you do that just prior to launch?
You should. You should have 3 things. You should do Google Analytics, the wicked tracking, and you should put your Facebook pixel on there, even if you're not doing ads yet, because then you'll be able to retarget everyone that just starts popping over to your site. Yeah, the more data you have, the more evidence you have for making, decisions based on data rather than on hunches or doing spray and pray marketing. So the more you always want the most data you can possibly get.
Yeah,
and then I also wanted to chime in on something, Casey, and I don't know what your goals are or intentions are, but one of the things that I always recommend is if you have this set up in place, hopefully what you're doing is building anticipation for the launch and getting people first access, so that even before you have your official launch, you're doing some sort of list building in the process. And this would be a great tool in order to kind of track where you're getting the most excitement from to build up for that launch.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good point, too. So Bernardo's asking, if I start with the basic and then decide to upgrade, will the Kickstart be required?
You know what? We've had people do that. I don't know. You know what? We can try without it. Actually, I'd be willing to let him try without it if he wants to do it yourself. You know what? I'm not prepared for that question. Andy really needs to answer that. My COO. There's some things in place that we kind of need people to follow.
I'm gonna say Scott. You're the CEO, so I'll be the bad guy. I'm gonna say right now that if you do upgrade later, the Kickstart will be required. But what I will do is say that because you guys are part of Memberium, so this is maybe we'll edit this out of the replay. But maybe what we'll do is we'll still offer you an extended discount on if you upgrade later on the Kickstart.
That sounds fair. Yeah. So if you do basic, good idea. Yes. If you do basic and then want to upgrade later, you just email us. Say eRock said I could still save $250 and we'll honor it. That sounds better, because there's just a lot going on with the Kickstart behind the scenes that I just don't feel comfortable doing that for free and do it on your own. So that's a good idea, Eric.
So another question about it: does the premium package price start 30 days after the Kickstart?
Correct.
Well, so that's Elizabeth. You ruined the secret. Usually we do a 14-day delay before your first payment processes, but Elizabeth, you just blew open the surprise for everybody. Only if you use the discount code. But no, Elizabeth, that's okay. Please don't be sorry, because in a way I guess it's a good thing, because maybe if you guys know that, maybe you'll get wicked or become wicked powerful and give it a try.
Ah, that was the bonus, the secret you were alluding to earlier.
Yeah, well, you know what? We had this whole superhero theme, the secret meeting thing, and Elizabeth, it looks like you are a superwoman. We'll call you Superwoman for basically having mind-reading powers. The truth lasso.
We can have too much fun with this. But, so, Scott, eRock, thanks guys for coming on. I really appreciate you being willing to share all of that information, and then everybody, so there's the link again, wickedreports.com/Memberium. I'm sure we'll put that under the replay, although the discounts and things are only available till the 25th, so go check that out. If you have any follow-up questions, you can send them in. We'll direct them to Scott, or obviously you could go to wickedreports.com and contact them there. But Scott, eRock, thanks again for coming, guys.
Thanks for having us, Micah. Take it easy.
Micah.
Yeah, thanks everybody. See ya.